You know, sometimes a story from a tiny village can tell you everything you need to know about the massive tensions in a country. That's exactly what we have here. We're going to dig into how a simple wedding celebration with a groom on a horse ended up sparking a huge conflict over tradition, caste, and justice in India.
A procession was not meant for people like them. Just let that sink in for a second. These are the chilling words that were allegedly spoken right before a wedding party was brutally attacked. And these words, they get right to the heart of what this is all about, and they help explain the extraordinary official response that came next.
All right, so let's get into the specifics of what actually went down on that Tuesday evening in the state of Madhya Pradesh.
So let's meet the groom at the center of all this. His name is Golu Ahirwar. He's 23 and he was all set to get married. And like a lot of grooms in his part of the country, he was getting ready for a really traditional pre-wedding ceremony.
It's just wild how quickly things went south here. So at 5 o'clock, the procession kicks off. Everything's peaceful. But then, it's not long before 4 men allegedly use a motorcycle to block the path. They pull Golu right off his horse and start beating him. And when his family rushes in to help, they get attacked too. And here we have a direct quote from Golu's sister Manisha, who was actually injured in the chaos. Her words just paint such a raw, personal picture of how a moment of joy turned into complete terror. So that's the what. But the big question, the really crucial one, is why. Why on earth would a wedding procession be met with this kind of violence? To get that answer, we've got to zoom out a bit and look at the deep, deep social context here. I mean, for a lot of us listening to this, that's probably the first thing that pops into your head, right? It just doesn't make any sense. But in this specific place, in this context, something as simple as a man on a horse is absolutely loaded with historical baggage. Okay, first things first, let's understand the custom itself. This procession is called a rachwai. It's supposed to be a happy tradition, basically a public celebration where the groom rides on horseback through his village to announce his upcoming wedding. And now for the piece of the puzzle that changes everything. Golu Ahirwar is a Dalit. For anyone who doesn't know, Dalits are at the bottom of India's traditional caste hierarchy and have faced just centuries of brutal oppression and discrimination. So you see, it all clicks into place now. This was never really about a horse, was it? For some people, from more dominant castes, seeing a Dalit man perform a ritual that was historically seen as above him, well, they see that as an act of defiance, a direct challenge to the old social order. But the story doesn't end there. In fact, what happened next is maybe just as jaw-dropping as the attack itself. Let's take a look at how the authorities reacted. Think about this for a second. After everything they just went through, this family didn't hide. They didn't back down. They took the injured groom right to the local police station and filed an official complaint against the men who attacked them. And wow, the police moved fast. Really fast. All 4 of the men that the family named in their complaint were tracked down and arrested almost immediately. And we're not talking about some minor charges here. On top of the standard assault charges, the accused were booked under something called the SC/ST Act. This is a very powerful law in India that's specifically designed to protect these vulnerable communities from discrimination and, well, atrocities. And just in case there was any doubt about the motive, the top cop in the district, the superintendent of police, he put it in no uncertain terms. He came right out and said, "Yep, this is a clear-cut case of caste discrimination." Okay, so arrests were made, serious charges were filed. You'd think that's the end of it, right? Nope. The authorities decided to take another step, one that's, well, never been done before in a case like this. And it sends a massive message. They brought out the big guns, the National Security Act, or NSA. Now, you need to understand this law is a really big deal. It lets the government detain someone for up to a whole year without a trial if they're seen as a threat to public order or national security. It's usually for things like terrorism, not local fights. And this is the kicker. This is what makes this whole thing historic. According to the police, this is the first time, the very first time, that this powerful national security law has been used against people accused of a caste-based attack on a wedding. It basically elevates the crime from a local assault to a threat to public order itself. So that's where we're left, with this huge, lingering question. Is this a game changer? By using such a tough law, are the authorities creating a powerful new deterrent against this kind of violence? Or, on the other hand, does using a national security law for something like this open up a whole new can of worms about its proper use? It's pretty incredible to think that this one case, in one small village, could end up reshaping how justice is pursued for these kinds of crimes all across India.